Namaste. Hi, I'm Jennifer, and I'll be offering a 2 hour block of yoga on Friday, January 16th at Vera Pose Yoga, and this focus on goddess yoga, embracing our authenticity. I just wanted to give a little sample of what the intention is, and you can kind of take a moment to practice 20 minutes for authenticity. Um, I referenced an article by Kavita Chennaiyan on the goddess and her darkness and light. And I hope, if you like, it's an optional thing to read ahead of time and just kind of get an idea that this idea of the goddess, the divine feminine, or, as women, just being this has this connotation that of perfection. And when the truth is, yoga and the goddesses are all about embracing every aspect of ourselves and coming to the mat and authentically approaching, standing in the self, standing in the observer, the witnessing awareness, and welcoming all that's there with compassion, love, and acceptance. And maybe your movement explores something a little different. Maybe it explores poses in a way that kind of fits what's going on in your body, what's going on in your mind, your emotions, and you're listening and you're just observing, right? Without that piece of judgment that it should be different or that it could be different or um, so here's the muscle we're exercising today is that piece of standing in awareness and allowing both our darkness and our light to be seen and to be observed. And the practice, what we can find is that when we allow and accept what's there authentically and with honesty, it begins to dissolve and it begins to dissipate, I guess, its contraction, and it allows the light to spread and to kind of fill and into this more understanding of who we really are as the lightness underneath it all and through it and in it. So with all that, I invite you to come to your mat. We'll do a short practice just to kind of get an idea of what that looks like. And if there's hesitation or resistance to being with what's here, I get it. There's a lot of times, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional pain or just resistance, right? We don't even quite know why. But I invite you to, allow that to be, right? Allow that too. And we're going to just come to a comfortable seat on the mat. And what's authentic for you today? What is true for your comfortable seat? So, right, how can you give yourself a moment to find support? If you need to raise your hips up onto a bolster, a blanket, just to give comfort or support to your hips or your knees, or to your back. So always inviting, this balance between effort and ease, stabilizing the body, allowing some openness and release. We start to give permission um, to see it all, to see it all and stand in it all. So, with that being said, let's take a nice deep breath. You're here. You've come onto your mat. And just that act of showing up um, is courage. Courage for all of us these days to show up for ourselves. So let's take a moment and maybe place one hand over your heart. Let's take a few breaths and begin to feel that breath in your body. It's welcoming and thanking yourself for showing up today. Just feel that rise and fall. There might be a bit of sense of the warmth under your hand, even a firmness if you if you feel the touch of the collarbones or the rib cage underneath your hand. You might bring the hands just in this triangle shape and hold them over the belly. Let's take a few moments to sense the physical sensations as you drop in, and you start to sense where your body is, what's here physically today. As you breathe in and breathe out, and attune. You might notice for a moment, let's just find what is observing. Find your witnessing self. What is the part that's seeing and watching the rise and fall of your breath and the sensations in your body? Can you, for a moment, notice the awareness that's here? You might move your hands and bring them up in front of the heart and kind of bring the base of the hands together and open the fingers, kind of like a lotus flower. And the touch of the little finger tips together and the thumb edges together, and pausing in this new shape. And just created a new shape with our hands, and let's sit with that for just a little bit. And again, see what changed in your physical sensations just by moving your hands a little bit to a different shape. There might be a shift in where the tensions are in your body or where the ease is in your body. And even where you feel the breath rising and falling may have shifted. And do the sensations change if we just shift the hands a little bit and touch all 10 fingertips together, bringing the hands in front of the abdomen again. And notice just what shifted. Notice the light padding of the fingertips is now of all 10 fingertips touching. Maybe something changed in your arms or your shoulders. Maybe something shifted in your side ribs or your back ribs. And just to hold this gesture. And we'll come back to I move in a way that honors just where I am today. I move in a way that honors exactly where I am today. I move in a way that honors exactly where I am today in body, mind, and emotions. Maybe open the hands and kind of rest the backs of the hands in the lap, or actually lift them and just kind of hold them a little bit off the legs. And just as you feel the breath moving into your body, breathing through the nose, inhaling, just feeling that sense of a little wider space between your hands as you're exhaling and bringing the hands closer together. Just attuning this soft wave of breath in through the nose and out through the nose with a soft movement of the hands. If there's any difficult resistance that you notice here, attuning to the breath or feeling the hands or slowing down and just arriving here, just you can rest for a moment and take a breath and observe where in your body does the resistance show up. Where do you sense that resistance to being present right here? Our next inhale, let's take a nice big stretch. Yawning, right the arms up towards the ceiling, taking a big breath. I'm arriving today with one shoulder that is not as kind of, I work with it very gently. Let's put it that way. So you might notice asymmetry in my arms and shoulders today, but it's you do what feels right for you, right? I'm going to do what feels right for me. And we'll bring our arms back down on the exhale. And a few times, let's shoot the arms up the front, just taking a breath in. Let's explore the arm movement this way, and the exhale to shoot the arms out the sides. Maybe there's a different arm movement that feels right today. Maybe no movement of the arms is right for you, but we're going to just kind of feel, how does it feel to kind of move the arms through the air, right? Can you find that patterning of um, of, of actually extending, swirling, reaching, and exploring, like curious, right? Take this nice last one, breathing in, reaching, exhaling out. Maybe make some goal post shapes with your arms, dropping your elbows. I'm going to explore that just a little bit, right? Can we lift and lower the elbows a few times? And relaxing the neck muscles. Like, is this movement Can we be with it in balance? Do we need to, make it smaller, change the shape of it? It doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter. There's nowhere to get to. There's no shape you need to make, right? So let's bring the hands down, right hand to the floor or one hand, and just sweep that opposite arm up. And let's taking a gentle side bend, breathing in and observing what is the reaction in the body to drop the elbow as you exhale. We're going to move in and out of that a few times, right? Taking that stretch, maybe reaching, breathing in. And as you exhale, letting the elbow fall. Right? How does this feel for you today? Right? Is there at any time where we need to remember acceptance, curiosity, authenticity, resting that arm back in your lap, pausing, taking a breath, right? As we take a few breaths, what is the resulting sensation in that area? Like, did anything tense up? Did anything soften? So this is very subtle, but just an example of, being without kind of bypassing what's here. So nice and slow. Let's try the other side, right? Right arm reaching, taking that breath in. I know I have a little bit of, these desires. Oh, I wish my arm could go up and over without pain. But if I stay within a range that I don't push into pain, I can still be with some areas of discomfort with curiosity. So let's take this last one. Nice big inhale and exhale. Lowering that arm down and around, resting, maybe back in the lap, pausing and taking a breath. Good, standing in your witnessing awareness. So many opportunities to dissolve those deeper tensions. So let's start to explore the rib cage. We're just going to take some nice barrel rolls. So side ribs, back ribs, side ribs, front ribs, right? All around the heart space. Breathing in and breathing out. So remembering, in yoga philosophy, the goddess is every sensation we experience, every movement, every heartbeat, every breath is the goddess. Every dark, every light. So there's no, kind of evaluating judgment because all that's here is the goddess. So what if in this circular movement around the rib cage, we notice every sensation as divine, even the parts that are difficult, right? So moving into the difficult parts, and maybe you're like, well, this is just really easy and feels good, or, that's okay too. Just very gentle this morning in this very sample practice of exploring. And maybe like shoulders, right? So let's do a few shoulder rolls. That's feeling like I'm curious today. Right, rolling shoulders back and forth. There's a little rotation in the rib cage. Maybe that feels like a good exploration. Just breathing in and breathing out. A little inner smile as we stand in our witnessing awareness. and observing how the goddess moves through us, darkness and light. Taking a breath or two. Again, there's nowhere to get to. There's nothing, no way you're supposed to feel today. So let's come onto hands and knees and we'll be a little more curious. Maybe having a little, a little cushioning for the knees is supportive. So we can observe, do I take care of these parts? Am I willing to be supportive of my body in the way that I know is true and is needed? So as we come onto hands and knees, we're going to start to explore that cat and cow a little bit, dipping the belly towards the floor and lifting the chin. And then we're going to bring the tailbone towards the nose. So what if we bring the tailbone, boy, I can't say that, towards the nose and around the back? Good. Let's move with that cat and cow a little bit. Breathing in and breathing out. Tailbone towards the nose, rounding the back. Good. So lots of ways to be curious about the vertebrae, right? The facets of the spine, from the root all the way to the crown. And you can move, maybe you want to move with taking a few breaths to move through each inch of your spine, from tail to crown, moving upwards, tracing along the back, and then from the crown through the cervical vertebrae, the thoracic spine, the lumbar sacral area, and remembering that the light of our attention and our awareness is what opens up into the darkness and light of our experience, dissolving the deeper tensions. Good, we'll take our hips back towards our heels on this last one, coming into child's pose. Little deeper flexion in the knees, maybe bending the elbows is right for your shoulders. Right, I know for me, that's where I need to be. Maybe just for a moment, stacking fists and resting forehead on hands. Right, taking a breath or two. It's a good time to observe if any strong thoughts or emotions are present. And why do we want to do that? There's a joy that can result from linking mind and body, not leaving one out, right? Bringing them into symmetry. So let's see what's here. Maybe we take a little exploration deeper into the hip joints, the knees, the shoulders. I'm gonna slide my blanket aside. We're gonna kind of explore joints by bringing hips forward, supporting our body weight, and then circling the hips around, right? So just taking this nice fluidity. You might even find in your shoulders that you're kind of doing some exploration. I'm taking the ball and socket joints of the hips and just doing some rotation, maybe exploring the other direction, and breathing in, breathing out. I'm just curious, like, what guides your movement? If there's a tension, a resistance, can we slow down into it and kind of really only move as fast as the slowest parts of you want to move? So that little bit of resistance is saying, wait, pause, explore, notice. So you might do that a few more times if you want. Any other exploration from table that feels right. And we might sit back into child's pose, sending the hips back. If you need support for your head or your hips, always doing what feels right. Right, pausing here. I attune to the authentic sensation and experience of my body. I stand in awareness. I take a few breaths. Good. Bring the hands back to the mat. Maybe just lifting the hips up. We come into a standing forward bend. So just walk our feet forward, hanging over the legs. I'm going to adjust my camera a little bit. So from that standing forward bend, hanging like a rag doll. So you can kind of let the arms hang and bend the knees a lot. Right, so you might either let the arms hang or you could hold the elbows. It's going to do a little sway, right? So a little sway side to side. Good. And then noticing if the feet, all four corners are pressing down to the floor with these sways. Good. As you rock side to side, you could kind of stretch and bend the knees a little bit. And coming back to center. And we're going to begin to roll up. So with a deep bend in the knees, let's start. And the arms hanging. So your body's way, your pace and time. Curious about your back and spine. We're going to slowly roll. And dropping the tailbone, and the sacrum, and the lumbar. Rolling up through those facets of the back. Nice and slow up through the thoracic spine, cervical spine, to our tallest posture. Take a nice stretch overhead, breathing in. And exhaling your hands to your heart and pausing here. Right, mountain pose. Good time to check in. You could bring your hands to your belly. You could bring your hands to your heart. Noticing your breath, your heart rate. Good. These moments to pause and stand in awareness. Like we had infinite time and space. Like there's nowhere to get to. If something comes up, it comes up, and you can stay with it longer. You could stand here longer if you want. I'm going to offer stepping outwards into a wide stance, toes turned out. If you feel like you're ready for some exploration, we're going to take the arms overhead in these wide circular motions, right? Just lowering down to the floor, breathing in up one side, exhaling down the other, right? Exploring the side body, the back body, and just noticing, is it more useful if you make this a little smaller, right? Maybe it's a kind of a shoulder exploration and arms moving kind of within the space closer to your body, even if it is a matter of exploring the wrists or the hands. Good. What is it for you today? Maybe we unwind the other direction, right? Just kind of which size feels right. Where is there a place of exploration, a deeper tension that you want to go slower into? I have this shoulder that I'm going to pause and explore myself. So if you have a joint at the moment that is speaking strongly and has a deeper tension, I invite you to pause and explore that joint a little bit. So just meaning, if it's a shoulder, can you find what range is within a range without pain? And then what direction starts to build tension in your body, and where does that tension go? Like I find it goes into my neck from my shoulder. And I'm going to stay with it and move in micromillimeter movements, right? Just micromillimeter movements of exploration of the shoulder. Maybe you have another place you're exploring. You can't go too slow, right? And you can't have too much awareness. Like, if you're exploring one side of the body, can you do the same on the other side? And notice the difference between if it's shoulders, and we might turn this into a triangle pose, turning our toes to the right and reaching, sliding, dropping, extending, experimenting with that side bend, sliding the hand up and down the leg a few times as we move into triangle, and that exploration. What feels authentic for you today? Maybe not going too far down, maybe a little micro bend in the knee is appropriate. What parts are involved or maybe absent? Like, are we actually present in our back body? So, meaning, can we feel the shoulder blades kind of drop down the back? Maybe explore the other side, shifting to triangle on the other side. Good, this one's a little different for me on this one. So with this arm, I'm gonna let my arm dangle to release that neck and shoulder. What are your sensations? Are you still standing in awareness, or did you get caught into a story about a certain part of your body or an expectation? Good. We're going to step back into mountain, pausing in mountain pose, maybe one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. We'll take a breath or two and be with what is, arising in awareness. Be coming back to that initial mudra we had, the triangular shape held in front of the abdomen. And as we take a few breaths, just observing as we end our short practice today, well, how it feels to be right here with this gesture of the hands. And does it change as we bring the hands back up to the heart in our lotus flower mudra, Padma mudra, base of the hands together, little fingertip and edges of the thumbs together, fingers extended, pausing here, just observing that shape, rise and fall of the breath. Feelings that arise. Reminding ourselves that whatever's arising is the goddess. She is every way that you sense, you feel, you think, every thought is the goddess. Every bit and every part. As we touch all 10 fingertips and bring the hands in front of the abdomen again. And take a few breaths, being with her as a ray of light and shadow. Her shadows, her tensions, her contractions serve to reflect the light, to remind us to be with, to slow down, to observe, to honor our shadows as well as our light as deeply, deeply powerful to bring us back to the self, who we truly are. And so we'll bring our hands to heart today in this short practice. I hope you'll join me for our longer 2-hour exploration of the goddess and all the ways that we are her, every bit and part, nothing left out. So namaste, my friends, and yeah, expanding in awareness. See you soon.